and welcome. My name's Super Saiyan and this is your weekly news and pre-order video covering all of the new releases from Forge World and Games Workshop. Want to say a huge welcome to all of you and a happy new year. If you didn't watch the video last weekend, there are quite a few pre-orders and quite a lot of news to cover this weekend, so we'll go straight in there. But first of all, may I draw your attention to the channel and note that I do have a Patreon if you wish to support the channel monetarily. If that's one of your New Year's resolutions, to support the YouTubers and content creators like myself for as little as like $1 a month. If you can't support the creators for that amount, you can always buy your Warhammer goodness from Element Games. Just use my affiliate link in the description below, and then that will tell them that I've sort of told you about them, and that will help the channel out too. Bear in mind you can get 15 to 25% off if you just click on the Adeptus Sororitas stuff. Look how much you can save. Look, like £6 here for the Retributive Squad. You can save £13 for the Triumph of St. Catherine. A couple of things are already sold out, like the Battle Sisters Squad and the dice, so bear that in mind. But everyone knew that it's going to be a very popular release anyway. So let's jump over to the news then. So if we travel back in time to the 4th of January, which was last week, Saturday, there were some reveals from the New Year Open Day. I don't think I covered these on the day. I think these came out after. I think they posted this during the day. There was a New Year Open Day. From my recollection, I can think that they typically show new releases and new models on that day. Of course, it's still a family kind of time, so I completely understand if people can't make it all the way to Nottingham to the HQ. There are quite a few highlights of this open day, such as this Soul Wars Wrath of the Everchosen. I've recently bought the Slaves to Darkness box set, and I will be getting Archaon and the Varangard. So for me, I think I'm going to invest in this book, and it will cover the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, which are an army that I want to cover on the channel as well. Again, I can only get these models and these armies with your continued support, both through the subscribing from the YouTube channel and supporting monetarily and through Element Games. Because these are armies and models that I wouldn't normally get. Nobody sends me models for free, so if I need to cover them on the channel, I have to purchase them through the normal channels. So if we look down here, you've got a closer look at the monsters in plastic, the Fomeroid Crusher, the Mindstealer Phalanx and the Ogroid Myrmidon. They look absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to cover them on the channel. They're going to look awesome in my Slave to the Darkness force. I think I might go for this Giranx. I'm not quite sure yet, but this one's pretty cool. They're both awesome looking models, and yeah, that Myrmidon looks brilliant. I might get some Dark Oath miniatures as well. They would be pretty good. There was also these couple of things. These Man Trappers. This one here, and these Nobbler followers. I like this one, giving him a piggyback or lift there. And then there's a nice video looking at some of the Adeptus Sororitas models that are coming out, such as these Retributors, which are up for pre-order today. We'll have a look at them in closer detail. You get some cherubs there as well. These Zephyrim, you know they're Zephyrim because they have the power swords, and I recently reviewed the Seraphim yesterday on the channel. But this kit will make either the Zephyrim or Seraphim, so I hope you look forward to content on that. Also, this look at a 10-man/woman unit of Archoflagellants. You do get some twins though, so 5 of those models are exactly the same as the other 5, just with a change of heads. Bear that in mind. And then a two model kit of the Penitent Engines /Mortifiers /Anchorites. These both look like Penitent Engines rather than the Mortifiers. The Mortifiers have the heavy bolters particularly, but you can swap them out. And this one here would be the Mortifier. It's got sort of more armour, you know, and the heavy bolters there. Interesting to note that it looks like the leg poses are the same for these two, but the arm poses are obviously different. And then this awesome look at this Battle Sanctum. I'm not sure whether you get this part of the building with it, but obviously you do get this lovely statue here. And yeah, here's one of the cherubs and one of the little doves holding the ecclesiarchy roll. Then, out of nowhere, is this new upgrade for Commander Shadowsun. This female Tau, I think she is. Lovely looking model. And yeah, I think it's just going to be a one-off. I don't think we're going to see upgrades for lots of your Tau units. I think it's going to be a lot like the Psychic Awakening, where they release a model or two that's new. It says here, Shadowsun drops in alongside the release of Book 5 Psychic Awakening, titled The Greater Good. So quite a few reveals and things on the open day. Yeah, I do feel a bit sad for people that went, like when I go to the open days and then they release all of these reveals on the website the same day, like as soon as you get in, especially for those people that have to travel a long distance and then pay for the tickets and things like that. But you know, this is the way that Games Workshop decided to do it, and I think that they won't change from that. I think they'll always do that. So just bear in mind, if you've got any events booked and things, that all of the reveals and things are going to be available for everyone else for free. Then you've got Start 2020 with these new books, and this massive compendium of Dan Abnett short story collection. It's absolutely huge. I can't remember how many pages it's going to be, but I think I've seen it in the flesh. Then you've got this Prophet's Ruin, some Warhammer horror, and you've got some Space Marine novels as usual, and then you've got Horus Heresy Collection number 2. Looks like you've got 3 books in there. The third book's Flight of Eisenheim, Fulgrim and Descent of Angels. I'm not quite sure why they're doing a collection thing. I think after all this they'll probably do more collections, but there we go. And also on the Saturday last week was pre-order Aether War, or Ether War, however you want to call it. I want to call it Ether. These are 2 sides. The only thing that's new are these 2 exclusive HQ models. Everything else is available separately. You do save a fair bit of money, but it's quite a lot of money anyway. It's over £100, and I think I had a closer look at that last weekend on Saturday. Then there was a Warhammer World April events the next day on the Sunday, and incredible dioramas. You've got a grand tournament, team championship, another team championship. A look at the diorama, this incredible display inspired by Fight of Demons at Cygnus Prime. I've had a look at that in the flesh, and it's worth going to Warhammer World alone to look at it in the flesh. It's absolutely stunning. If you want to see it, you want to see some video and some pictures and things, check out my recent review of the open day. Just type that into YouTube, or it's one of my most recent videos. You'll be able to find it, and I show you loads of pictures and video of this display. So if you can't make it to Warhammer World, then you can just look at all this for free on my channel. Then on the Sunday, coming next week, Battle Sisters galore. So they are all up today. Well, part of the release. You've got the Codex, which I always think should be one of the first things that they release in like a new release. You've got the limited edition. You've got some dice. You've got some cards. You've got the Heart of the Order, which is the Retributor box set. You can only make Retributors in there. However, the heavy weapons are compatible with the Battle Sister box set, and the Battle Sister box set you can make your normal Battle Sisters, your Dominions, and your Celestians. I think Games Workshop have even have a separate product on the website where the box set includes 5 Celestians and 5 Dominions. Obviously that is just a box of Battle Sisters, but I'm pleased that they've done that, because anybody new to Sisters Battle, that really highlights that you can get 2 units out of the one Battle Sister box set. And it's also good because I'm pleased they've done this in terms of the multi-pose and the compatibility with other kits. I think that's really important. You being able to use these heavy weapons from the Retributors in the Battle Sister squad allows you for much more customization in all of your Sisters models. I can't wait to get my hands on these models too. So it was those two, the Codex, all the other extras, and also the Triumph of St. Catherine. I've pre-ordered everything except for the cards, because I don't game as much as I used to. So for me, it's not as worth doing that. And yes, I've got Triumph of St. Catherine, but that's pretty much because you can use her in any of the any of the factions. You don't have to have a specific faction, unlike Janita. On Monday, kicked off with Big Brothers episode 14, Manifold Blessings of Multi-Part Kits. So this was the big article that really sold me on the kits that have come out this weekend. The fact that you can have a Battle Sisters box set and have Celestians and Dominions in there. Lovely close look at all these. I like the Simulacrum Imperialis. I like all the different versions of it. I like this Battle Sister pulling a pin out of a grenade with her teeth so she can keep firing with a bolt gun. Brilliant. Psychic Awakening, A Promise Fulfilled. I look at the Thousand Suns. Rumour Engine. That looks like an orc hand, but it's a very muscly hand anyway, whatever it is. Start Your Journey into the Mortal Realms. So you've got a weekly magazine. I will be doing a separate video on this, on whether I think it's worth it or not. If you're planning on collecting both of these armies, it is, but if you're just planning on collecting one, it isn't. You do save an awful lot of money if you haven't got any of this stuff, and I haven't got any of the Age of Sigmar scenery. I have no plans on getting any of the Stormcast Eternals, but I do like the Nighthaunt, but I probably will just buy the big £100 set to get all those. Interesting enough, I don't think you get Nagash at all, but there you go. And then you get subscriber gifts, which I've had before. No doubt they'll change the subscription like they've done before as well, and add extra bits, charge you for the binders. They've done it before, so they will do it again. It's not like they're gonna change in that regard. You can go premium and spend an extra £2 per week, so you're looking at £40 being direct debited, which is now quite a considerable amount to be taken out of your bank. But like I say, I will be creating a brand new video covering this Mortal Realms Age of Sigmar subscription from Hachette Parkworks. Battling with the Battle Sisters, we had a closer look at the Exorcist and how amazing that now is, and on also Junith Aruta and the Holy Sanctuary. Again, I'm wondering if the Sanctuary is just this, or whether it's got some ruins around it as well. Road to Thramas Part 2 on the Night Shift. Really nice look at some Deathwing Knights. Absolutely fantastic, these miniatures, and I'm looking forward to all the... I won't be collecting them, but I'm looking forward to all the other Dark Angels miniatures coming our way. There's Chronicles of the Adeptus Sororitas, so if you want to learn more other than reading the Codex, which I've been going through, there's a few books, recommended reads, like Sisters of Battle Omnibus by James Swallow, and also Mark of Faith by Rachel Harrison. She's a new upcoming author, and there seems to be a lot of popularity with her recent novels. Shades of Faith gives you some different colour options for the Sisters of Battle. I really like this blue. Really cool. You've got Lothern blue shaded with Thunderhawk blue, several highlights all the way up to blue horror. A really striking colour scheme, and it contrasts well with the gold of the weapons, and also the blue contrasts well with the Martian kind of planetscape. Of course, the Snowyscape looks good on those models too. And then there was a look at the Regimental Standard, Unlock Your Prosperity, Middle Earth Hobby Bingo 2020, Adeptus Sororitas, Order Convictions, Flamer, or Death. So it's just, those two. Not, melt your face off with a melter gun or anything, but it's nice acts of faith ability. It's incredibly powerful. You've got super miracles as well. This just looks so cool. And then you've got this amazing Imagifier, lovely model. And even just normal sister with a melter gun looks fantastic. Moving upwards, you had a Cataphrane Chronicle, creating the Restricted and Forsaken list, and then Forge World pre-order Rocket with Rockets. Now, I can't stress this enough, I'm totally against this model. Apologies, but you know me, I've got a Warlord Titan, I've got many Titans, I've got the Nemesis Warbringer, I've got a Stormbird, Thunderhawk, Mastodon, I've got a huge number of very expensive Forge World kits, and I can't get behind this at all. For one, it's £95, which is absolutely ludicrous. I just can't get behind that. It's more than the Sabre tank with all of its weapons options. I really want to know the reasoning behind the prices, this ridiculous price of this tank. You know what I'm like, if I disagree with something or I think that something's unfair, I will damn right say it, because I've got the freedom of the channel to do such a thing. There's no way this should have cost more than the Sabre tank. There's no way it should cost more than a Sakaran. It looks like a Sakaran driving backwards. The weapons are rubbish. The rules are rubbish. I can't get behind this. I don't want to give it any more time on this section. I'll look at it in Forge World, but I would strongly avoid this one at all costs. Just move on from that. It seems like such a money grab to me, in my opinion. Anyway, you've got number 42, Light, Realm War, Bigger and Better, Space Marine Adventures in Target, and then Saints of the Imperium. This is a lovely article. Talks about different saints like Sabbath and the Matriarchs, also Celestine and Lord Solar, Macarius and Malcador the Hero, and then obviously the Loyal Primarchs too. So that's a lovely little article. Okay, that is all of the news. Quite a lot in the past week. Stuff from Forge World, all the Sisters of Battle stuff, and the Open Day. Quite a lot to cover. So after that exhaustive commentary over the latest news and features, let's look at Forge World and that absolutely ridiculous tank. So if we click on new and we go to pre-orders, it is just this Legion Arquitor Bombard with Spicular rocket system. Ridiculous name to begin with. Arquitor Bombard, I don't know who came up with that. You got some pictures of it here. The sponsons look quite easy to take off and put on. It comes with this silly autocannons. I don't know why. Games Workshop did this with the Iron Hail stubbers and the heavy stubbers and things for Space Marines with Primaris, and now Forge World are putting autocannons on Space Marine vehicles. It's ludicrous. You either have heavy bolters, heavy flamers, or las cannons maybe. I get that this is kind of like an anti-infantry kind of bombard support tank, but you're putting on these weapons which I think are 48-inch range for the autocannons, with a 24-inch range, like missile pod, rocket pod, sorry, not even missile pod. It's £95. There's no way I would pay that much for this small tank. It is diddly. It's like a Sakaran driving backwards, well overpriced, and the rules are crap. Now, maybe I would forgive it a little bit if the rules were friggin' awesome, but they're not. It's way more than the Sabre tank with all the weapon upgrades. I don't know the reason behind this price. Maybe they were banking on the success of the Sabre tank to then cash in with this smaller tank and charge more money for it. Or maybe they have priced it at this point to make the Sabre tank look like better value. They do this in their big box games a lot of the time. They release a box game with two sides for £100-something, then they release the model box set separately for like £35 or £40, and it actually makes the game box sets look better value. But comparing it also to the Sakarans at £84, let's just face it, so it's even more expensive than a Sakaran, which is an absolutely lovely kit. I'm not sure whether this would be a lovely kit, but there we go. I can't support this at all. I think the price is ludicrous. I think the rules, which are free, but then they usually have to be to support this weapon. Yes, it's got 4 hull points, but it's only got 12 armour. They want you to take 3 of these things, 1 to 3. The range of those, they actually call them missiles, sorry. It's a spicular rocket system which is armed with missiles, which is ridiculous anyway. Range of 24 inches, which is silly. It should have been minimum 36 inches. Yes, it's good that it's AP3. It can delete Space Marines, and yes, it's good that it's got a 5-inch template. But if you want to use a 7-inch template and you get a 6, so you get 10 hits with that D6 template, then that's it. It exhausts its ammunition and it can no longer fire. If you really want, you can change the side weapons, the heavy bolters for autocannons. But there's just so many negatives to this model. I can't none of the small positives do anything to move it away from those negatives. I just can't get over it. So that's everything that's up for pre-order from Forge World, this Aqua to Bombard. Let's go over to Games Workshop, where it is a much positive and brighter picture, because we have the Sisters of Battle. Finally, they've arrived. This is the first week of release. Of course, I had the Army box set, which I absolutely love, because those miniatures are quite exclusive to that set, and exclusive in terms of poses and the weapon options and that exclusive Canoness. But now, Sisters of Battle have released, and I did promise on the channel that I would cover all of their releases, every single model. So if we go to pre-orders right here and we go view all, we've got 30 pre-orders here, ladies and gentlemen. If we go to high to low, you've got this week's Adeptus Sororitas pre-orders for £132.50. Essentially, for £132.50, what you're paying for is 16 models. if you want to do the numbers, you've got the Triumph of St. Catherine, which, yes, it's a £65 model. It's a big model, big like diorama model. It looks absolutely cool. You've got 10 Battle Sisters and 5 Retributors for £132.50. Yeah, insane. I think that's all you get for £132.50. It sounds about right. £60 plus basically £65, yeah. The Ether War and the Disciples of Zenith's Essentials are sold out. I am baffled that they're sold out. I mean, are they actually sold out? It's odd that they're sold out. Anyway, you've got the Triumph of St. Catherine, £65. I didn't expect it to be that much. Maybe £45 or 50 at the max. But 65 is crazy. She's the same price as Catacross. Yeah, same price as Catacross. I don't know about this. I mean, and that is a big model in a big box with a hugely detailed base. And then we're comparing this. Lots of cherubs. You're getting 5 cherubs, it looks like there. 6 actual sisters, it looks like. And this one wielding the sword and shield at the front. It is a stunning model on this sort of floating tomb with her body and her bones on there. It is a stunning model, but 65, I'm not sure. I mean, the base is very detailed too. This is one where you really should be, painting the models before you glue them all into place. But it is what it is, £65. I don't know whether I can get behind that kind of price for it, but there we go. Then you've got the Battletome Disciples of Zenith. They were all up for pre-order last weekend. But this is the Codex, and it should be exactly the same number of pages as my one. Yep, 112 pages. It'll have a soft touch cover, lovely embossed page trims and page keeper, and different artwork as well on the front. It looks lovely. It's got quite a few units there, but no kind of... It captures a battle or an event, but there's no real focal point, so I'm not sure. But anyway, you can't get that anymore. I've just clicked it and it says no longer available, so that's sold out very quickly. Sons of Selenar, limited edition. You can no longer get that as well. Then you've got the Battle Sisters themselves. So you've got Battle Sisters Squad, £35. I don't know who these sisters think they are. I think they're thinking that they're Primaris, or even Death Guard, may I say. But even Death Guard, I think, are 30. Plague Marines are £30 for 7. But still, this seems to be the new pricing. £35 for 10. It jumped quite quickly, from standard Space Marines, which were £25 for 10, jumped to 30, now it's £35. So they're following the Primaris pricing, so I have to wonder whether the Primaris pricing was kind of like an abridge to get to the pricing that we now have. Very expensive for 10 models, but you can make 3 different units out of them. You can make 5 Celestians or 5 Dominions. I don't know whether you can make 10 Celestians, because it says build 1 squad of 10 Battle Sisters or a squad each of 5 Celestians and 5 Dominions. So it seems like there's only enough parts for 5 of one and 5 of the other, but you can't make, say, 5 Dominions. You can't make, say, 10 Dominions or 10 Celestians. It's either 10 Battle Sisters or 5 of each. So bear that in mind if you're thinking that you can get 10 Celestians out of this. It quite clearly says that. But I'm all for this. They look lovely miniatures. I can't wait to get my hands on them. Here you go, Dominions and Celestians. Now this is just a Battle Sister box set, but you can make 5 of each, and it gives you examples of both of those. Look absolutely lovely. And then you've got the Retributive Squad, which is £32.50. Now what's interesting enough is these follow the same suit as the Havocs. The Havocs were £32.50 for 5. Yes, you do get the 2 Cherubs, but even, dare I say, Devastators? Devastators are £30 for 5. But yeah, this seems to be the new thing, these heavy support choices. In the same scope as the Chaos Space Marine Havocs, £32.50. This seems to be like new price point for 5-man or woman squad of heavy support. I'm not a big fan of that face. It just looks absolutely awful. I mean, it suits the book that she's reading from or shouting from, but if I can get away with it, I'll put a helmet on her. Because I'm not a big fan of those anguished features. I think it looks awful. Anyway, £32.50 for 5. Then you've got the Codex itself, which is £25. Again, 112 pages. If you want to see a review of that Codex, just check out my channel next week, where I'll be reviewing my own army set Codex. I do have a first look on the channel if you want to see the contents of this one. Just type in Sisters of Battle Codex first look, and it's on the channel. You've got Battletome Caradron Overlords and Battletome Disciples of Zeech. They were up for pre-order last week. So was the Endless Spells Disciples of Zeech, and then you've got the Adeptus Sororitas dice. It's £20. Some people said, oh, that's really expensive, it's like a £1 per dice. Well, you've got the cheaper dice here, £5.50 for well, how many do you get? 20. So this is 4 times the amount. They better be absolutely amazing though. We'll see when they arrive. You've got various other things that you can order, like the Lord of the Dark Millennium. You've got the data cards, £15. And then you get this Beseechment of St. Dominica. You get this art print if you pre-order the Codex. And it says, yeah, originally seen on the Sisters of Battle Army set cover Codex. So yeah, if you pre-order the Codex here, you get that art print. And there you go. That is all of the news and pre-orders. Very, very heavy release schedule, sort of the second week into 2020. There's going to be more pre-orders out next week. You're only going to have to wait until tomorrow. Check the Warhammer community website to see what is up for pre-order. Then my best guess is it's the Flagellants, maybe the Cannon S. It could be the Penitent Engines, and it could be the tanks. It could be Iruta. Who knows? But we will find out tomorrow for the second release. There's going to be quite a few weeks releases for these Sisters of Battle. I just hope that there aren't any breaks. I hope they are solid releases every single week until we've got all of our Sisters of Battle models. They're true to their word though at the moment. Nothing seems to be out of stock. Triumph of St. Catherine is still there, probably because it's £65. And the Battle Sister Squad is still there. But a couple of these things are no longer available on the third-party sellers' websites. So, yeah, in my opinion, if you've missed out on getting these at like 25% cheaper or whatever, just be patient. Games Workshop have clearly got enough stock, and the third-party sellers will be getting more stock in from Games Workshop. So, unless you really need to have them by next weekend, my advice is just wait, another week or so, and you'll be able to get them at a cheaper price. Anyway, that's it for all of my news and pre-orders. What do you guys think of that tank? And what do you guys think of all of these Sisters of Battle releases? I think it's a very good decision that they've released the Codex, the dice, the cards, an HQ choice, Triumph of St. Catherine, the Sisters and the Retributive Squad. I would have added the Canoness to all that, or I would have withheld St. Catherine, because £65 is the Battle Sister Squad and the Retributive Squad. Now, if you've only got £60 odd, what are you going to buy? You're going to buy the Sisters and the Retributive Squad, and you might hold off at St. Catherine. Having something that expensive, along with the core units, I think it would have been better if they just had the core units and an HQ, and then have Triumph of St. Catherine later on the release. It's probably the most expensive model, I think, that's coming out for Sisters, and they've started off the first week with it. But hey, that's just my opinion on that front. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments below. Great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.